explain what we're so excited about. So I'm gonna highlight Coach Palmer because I'm gonna watch this myself directly because I know it's gonna be an amazing morning. So Coach Palmer, I'm gonna turn it to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And anytime you get me on a whiteboard, it's like, I mean, the coach in us, Todd, is it makes us really happy to be at a whiteboard. So here's the deal. We are launching today, January the 29th through February the 11th. Corporate is launching a fast cash promotion. And Ken Bailey, if we could unmute Ken. But I want to step people through this, but I also want to get Ken's input on anything he wants to add to this. But guys, this is something, I say this all the time, but do you see the word promotion? If you really want to know how to build this industry, whether you've got 2 people in the business or you've got 10,000 people in the business, people that promote make more money in this industry than people that sell. It's just the way it is. So here's what I would tell you. When we talk about this today, if I were you, I highly recommend to get your team on a Zoom, get them on a call, bring the energy and talk to them, promote the promotion that we're about to lay out. It's going to run from January the 29th to February the 11th. I'm going to give everybody a chance to take a screen capture of this. We're going to post it just right now, and then I'm going to talk about this, okay? So, Andrea Rosser, if you wouldn't mind, if you would just post so everybody can take a screen capture of the fast cash promotion. Here it is right here. Now, it's 2 weeks only. You only have 2 weeks. It's January the 29th through February the 11th. There are some promotion details. There's no loopholes or craziness in the details. It's things like, it's for enrolling new customers. Volume can be cumulative. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. But it also says qualification volume does not count. That's pretty much common sense. Personal orders do not count. That's common sense. So read over the promotional details so that no one gets confused out there, but it's a very, very simple promotion, okay? So thank you, Andrea, for that. So here's the promotion. Starting today through the end of the week, okay? You have an opportunity to go put in customers in the system. Your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, get them on our amazing products. We know they're good. Here's the thing. If you put in 110 PV, and I'm just going to use this by the end of the week, you're 110 PV in customers, you're going to make a $25 bonus, okay, above the normal commissions that you would make. And Ken Bailey is going to talk about that in just a second. But here's the thing. If you go work hard this week, and that 110 PV could be over 5 customers. It could be over 3 customers. It's cumulative. So all this week, Saturday to Friday, close of business on Friday, everything that you collect in customers, when it hits 110 PV, you're assured you're going to make a $25 bonus above commissions. When it hits 125 PV, and again, this is on this promotional material, you're going to make $50 bonus, okay? Now, remember, it's at the end of the week, it'll look and see where you're at. So it's not in addition to the 25, okay? So if you hit 125 by the end of the week in customers, you're going to make a $50 bonus above regular commissions. And then the last is if you go to 200 PV, which I believe needs to be all of our goal this week. Like, let's go get 200 PV out there in the field of customers. We're going to max this thing out, get a $100 bonus. Okay. That'll be what you get at the end of the week for this week's effort. This might be 10 customers that added up to 200, or it just might be 1, however you do it. But above commissions, you're going to get a $100 bonus. Now you get the money at the end of the promotion, and you could do this over a 2-week period. So here's what I mean by that. You could go get 200 PV this week, $100 bonus above commissions. And then to start next week on Saturday, you could go run the play all over again. And I want to have Ken say a few things, but here's what I'll just go ahead and turn to Ken. Ken, anything you want me to add on here about the promotion?
The biggest thing I see there, Brent, I mean, anybody can do this, but think about a new brand partner. You sign up somebody today or yesterday, maybe they come in with a 325 level up pack. They spend $325. If they did 200 volume for customer this week and 200 next week, they're going to make $260. They've almost got their money back by signing 2 customers with 200 volume. And then explain what I'm talking about there. Brent kept saying you still get your regular commission. So team lead volume is still paid. So if you're an ultimate level rep out there, which most of you are, you get 30% in team lead volume. So 200 volume with 30%, that's $60. And then you earn that $100 cash that we got. So an ultimate level rep, make sure you understand, you go out and get 200 volume customer, you're going to make $160 for 200 volumes. That's crazy good, Brent. But like I say, I think what the company has in mind, I was talking to Cameron just a little bit earlier, texting with him, is getting new people that you just got started, some cash in their pocket, maybe get their investment, if they want to call it an investment back, and creates activity. They're talking to people. Maybe they're talking to them about being a customer, but all of a sudden that person wants to become a brand partner. It's going to create excitement, getting some more cash in people's pockets. I think it's huge.
Ken, I love what you just said. So if they just came in at an activate level, a brand partner, they just enrolled yesterday, and they're just sitting at this 15%, they're not ultimate yet. They go out and take advantage of this. In week 1, they do 200 PV. They're going to make, what Ken's saying is they're going to make $130. How is that? $100 on bonus money, and they're going to make another $30 in the 15% on the 200 PV. Then they go after it a second week, another 130. Okay. So they're sitting there with $260, and they possibly came in for like 310, 320. Guys, this is a chance to go get people paid here, but not only people paid, all of us paid more. One of the things I learned from my mentor years ago was when a promotion is given by the company, go get it, go win it. Because the company's looking for the people that are raising their hand at that point going, I want to go to the next level. So you don't think Cameron's watching who's winning this promotion, Mark Wilson's watching who's winning this promotion and going after it. Not only are they looking for the new people, but they're looking for us to go, Brent, are you lazy? Are you ready to go in this new age with us and go take this company to the top of the industry? So Ken, this is an amazing promotion.
Brent, a couple questions I'm getting and clarifications. You can only win once per week. Okay, that's why we're saying 150, 130 this week, 130 the following week. So there's a limit of 2. The company has to cut it off at 1 per week because they're giving away, as you can see there, $160 for 200 volume. You couldn't do that for a long time, but so they're just putting that cash out there, and it is for customers, not brand partners. So make sure we clarify that. But that's as you said, your brother, your mother, your sister, whoever.
And Ken, it's an amazing time to go get a couple of customers in. Maybe I get 10, 15 customers over the next 2 weeks into my business personally, right? But as they experience the product, now those customers, man, they're warm market for me to go talk to on how to enroll as a brand partner at the end of this promotion. So it's a win-win for us in the field. But again, I can't emphasize enough, be the promoter for your team, meaning you got what we're doing right now. You've got to do it with your 2 people on your team or your 10,000 people on your team. Promoters make the most money in the industry. Go promote this.
Yeah, the best thing I see, Brent, as I said, this is creating income producing activity. You know, we're going to focus on that at the Destin event, but as you're out there gathering these customers, then that'll lead to brand partners and not, you know, sitting on Zooms 10 hours a day. You know, all those are important and they have their place. But guys, we got to be creating customers and brand partners, which is volume, which pays everybody, pays the company, raises the stock, all that. So big promotion here.
And Ken, I'll end with this and turn it back to you, Chris, if you want me to talk about the Destiny event, wherever you want to go. But Ken, thank you for this, because one of the things that it really makes me think of when you said that is sometimes as business builders in the business, and that's all of us on this Zoom today, we've got to sometimes be reminded of what the main thing is. You know, there's social media out there. We're doing TikToks, like we're doing, and all that stuff's great. Like it brings leads in, but sometimes we just got to be reminded, hey, Brent, over the next week, go add 200 PV worth of customers to your business. We're going to incentivize you for doing it above your normal commissions, but that's the main thing, Brent. So what it's done for me is hey, I know what I'm doing today and the rest of the week. I'm going to focus in on winning this promotion. Why? Because it's going to generate more market leads for me. It's going to generate more money for me in my home. And at the end of the day, hitting that keyboard with my fingers and enrolling someone, a customer or a brand partner, what it does psychological, to my mental state of growing a business, it is so powerful to be in that create and build mode. So
Yeah,
Ken,
last
this is
thing,
amazing.
Brent, one more clarification, guys. Old reps, us, we can participate too. I just used that example of a new rep and creating some quick cash for them, but everybody on here can go out and do this. And that just creates excitement and big. In fact, Cameron, when he was running Europe there, they did it in Europe. And you probably heard him talk about this, Brent, Todd. I can't remember when the 2 weeks Europe did it, added like $1 million in sales each week or something like that. It was crazy what it created. And we expect everybody to do it here in the US, and that does a lot of things.
And last thing, Ken, is let's celebrate it, guys. When you create this week, don't be ashamed to go put a flyer out there on social media, put it on MOA Challenge, New Age Nation. Like, let's shout it from the rooftops. Oh my goodness, look what just happened. But let's also do it for our team, guys. Let's get out there, congratulate, celebrate, and promote this promotion and watch what happens for your business.
Outstanding. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, thanks, Ken.
One thing I do want to mention, and Andrew I'm going to put her on the spot here without bringing it up, but obviously I've had a couple of text messages. One more thing about the Eventbrite for Destin. We're about out of, I want to get to the guest, but the Destin event's coming up in the next few weeks and it's going to sell out. And some of them are asking, so I don't know where that's at. So Andrew, could you bring up or put it in the chat at least, just put something in the chat about the event and how to get registered, because obviously we're promoting it early because, we want to make sure everybody gets their tickets. And now at this point, I think we're at that level. Yeah. We're past that. We're going to sell out. So
Chris, can
go ahead.
Go ahead, Todd. I'm sorry.
I don't think everybody has heard this yet. The ones we talked to have, but it was confirmed this week that Deanna Latson, Fred Cooper, Mark Wilson, and Cameron Bott, all four are in attendance at the event. And some of them, if not all of them, will be at the mastermind. So talk about some special time to get high-end questions answered, things you want to know, build the relationship with the owners. And then there will be some new announcements, we believe, coming this week on the leadership of the company. So going to be a fantastic week headed into an unbelievable unbelievable event.
Yeah,
Chris,
I heard that who I was going to be there. That was what says going to be somebody, people there that you didn't expect. That's them.
Chris, I know we're moving to our speakers, but let me just say this about the mastermind. With the owners being there, if you want to be a part of an exclusive group that kind of gets some inside movement, information, knowledge, that's it. That's going to be the place. We're laying out the mastermind, and that's one of the big pieces to it. But let me say this, February the 4th, write it down. February the 4th is the deadline for the mastermind. So how do you get in the mastermind? You enroll 2 people on a minimum of 200 PV plus a subscribe and save, get you in the mastermind. Message Andrea Rosser, get your seat. Okay. Remember the mastermind, we're going out that evening. We're renting out a boat. It's going to be amazing. And you'll be with the executives, a lot of pictures, a lot of things for social media. But if you enroll 4 people, remember you get to invite a guest with you. Okay. So I just want to remind everybody the deadline's coming up. The deadline is February the 4th. So we got a week to make this happen. Okay.
We're going to start with Dr. Kristal Vance. She is there. We're already into this a little further than we planned to be, but I want the guest up. Dr. Kristal, you with us?
I am. Hello.
You know, you always outdo everything with your post. You do amazing posts, but I use your picture as much as anybody's because your transformation is mind blowing. I don't know what else you can say. Your transformation. I mean, I haven't even told you this, but I keep it in my screen on the spot on my phone where I can pull it up quick. And I just say, I know that I don't look too sharp after all this little bit of weight loss. And I don't look at what happened to this lady. And I use your picture a lot. I know my daughter does, but I want you to talk about that. Take us through, here you are a doctor in a clinic and you've got your business built up. And I want you to go from deciding to enter this world and do something different. And I know the transformation was a big part of that.
Yeah. Everybody always is like, hey, I want you to talk to my chiropractor. And I'm like, just so you know, I did this in spite of being a chiropractor. I 20 years in chiropractic practice. I grew up, some people know this, but some may not. I grew up around the industry. My parents were 30 years in Amway and successful with it. But even as the kid of them, right? We called us Amway kids. We even had to give us our own little name. I didn't want to do it. Now I wanted the lifestyle that they had. I wanted everything that they got with it, but I was like, I want my own. So I went to school. I got the degree. I spent $300,000 doing it. That's a big ouch when you come out of school and you have that much debt. Like my school loan payment was more than most people's house payment. And I didn't have a house. So I was living with my parents when I first came out of school because I couldn't afford it. And so then you go into practice and you know what? It took off and I ended up going back to my hometown. And I love Wyoming, but dang, it's cold there. And so I found myself as my practice grew and I was becoming more and more successful. I started increasing the trips to chase the sun. And I started adding on more debt. I was making more money, but I was adding on more debt. And so I really got to a point, I was approaching 40 and I was like, man, I'm not like, when you stop and you take a screenshot of your life and you're like, do I like what I have? And I was like, this is not what I was taught. I was taught be debt free. I was taught create residual, types of income, create multiple streams of income. And all of a sudden I realized that I might have the doctor title, but all I did was I was in a job. I just owned the business. I had way more stress level on my shoulders as a small business owner because now it wasn't just my position, it was my staff's position. And I got hurt working on a patient. So I want you to think about this. If what you do today to create income, if something happened to you and you couldn't work, what would you do? And that was always like my fear. And also, by the way, you go towards your fears, right? My fear was always, what happens if I get hurt and I can't pay my bills? And guess what? I did. And so I was sitting there going, what can I do different? And I saw a friend going across Facebook. She had reached out to me months before, and I was kind of watching from the sideline because I'm a businesswoman. I also like to watch people succeed. So I was watching her have success and it was almost like entertainment value at that point. I really was not thinking this is for me. I was like, go girl. That's awesome. And all of a sudden, like my health is going down. I'm almost 300 pounds. And she's talking about her health is getting better than it's ever been before. And she's driving a brand new fancy car. And I'm like, and it's being paid for and she's creating money for her house payment. And I'm like, okay, one of us has a doctorate and one of us doesn't. And one of us is smart and one of us isn't. And I was like, if she can do this and she's having success with this, why can't I? And I had so much debt that I was like, I'm a fool if I don't create another stream of income into my house. And so it became very simple. I had an event. I brought 20 people. I want you to come and see what this is all about, because if it can help her, it can help me. And she was there. And it can help you. And I thought my friends were going to kill me. I stood around the corner going, oh my God, they're going to kill me. And then I look out and every single one of them was like, how do I do this? And that was a light bulb moment for me, that my friends were just like me. And that kind of ripped the Band-Aid off for me. And I just started like letting people know about it. So that's, I kept my own transformation going, but I just wanted as many people involved as possible because I wanted other people to win.
Kristal, I think I got a real important point here. I had an epiphany earlier this week talking to Brent that we had built a walkaway residual income for the last 20 years, and I've never signed up a rep through social media. So we got to talking about, like, I'm spending all my time telling people how to lose weight when my expertise should be telling them how to create residual income and time freedom. I mean, we're sitting here in hot yoga. Today's Saturday, but we do it on Mondays, we do it on Tuesdays, we do it on Wednesdays. But Kristal, here's my point. We see your 160-pound transformation, and it's the most jaw-dropping thing I've ever seen. But you were building a business long before you lost the weight. Like, your business was making you walk away, shut down your chiropractor kind of money before you ever started doing it. And Anthony, go ahead and pull Duke up. We'll get him going along with this. Can you share that, Kristal, about that, how you started before the weight loss happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, I thought the whole point of this was get your story while you were making money. And so I was like, I'm just going to keep telling people. And if the healthier I get, the more people will want to do what I'm doing. And so we had a simple play, right? Gotta love the coach. Thanks, mentor coach Palmer, for that. And so it was simple. It was make a list of 20 people, top motivated, excited people that you know in your life. And then it was expose them in some way to this in the next 7 to 10 days. And our goal from that was to find 4. It wasn't to find all 20 of them. In fact, we knew that most of them were not going to be interested. So it was like, but we'll find 4 who are. And then that 4 would give that person some win. They would put money into their pocket. And so it would also show them that this works. And then we didn't stop with them. What we got really good at was getting to the next layer, to the next level of people. And that's what I find is sometimes, like, I'll bring a new person on, and then I just sit there and mama bear them. Well, the best way I can help them is help them get their list and get underneath them to give them something to lose. So that when someone tries to take their fire out of them, they're like, yeah, but I got somebody that's on my team that's excited. I'm not quitting. So, I mean, that's all we did. We just kept going and duplicating it. Rinse, repeat.
Okay. I got to jump in for just a second. And I know we got to go to Duke, and I'm excited about that. Kristal, I lived it with you. Just so y'all know, Kristal owned a business. People would fly in to see her. Major successful, majorly in debt, never talked about it. People don't talk about being in debt, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to tell you how broke they are. She was making a lot of money, but broke at a higher level. Lived on the golf course in Wyoming, like all of that, bells and whistles, had the Corvettes, everything, but was just drowning in debt. And so she needed to go build a business. But my question, Kristal, is I'm so proud of you. I mean, I just see over the years what you've done, but going back for all of these people on the Zoom, if we could take you back, because philosophies don't change in network marketing. They've been going on since the beginning of network marketing and they still work today. Technology might change, things might change, tools might change, philosophy does not change. Kristal, if you signed up Rick Briefs today, Rick and Jane, just, I know it'll take you 30 seconds. What would be your onboarding, getting started, getting Rick and Jane, but go back to then when you were blowing it up and you're doing great now, but what would you tell them? What would you tell the brand new person? You just said some of it.
Yeah.
The list.
First of all, I would ask them if they wanted to have success here with their business. That's the first most important thing, because you can't make somebody want something that they don't want or go do something. Okay. So, but then it would be over the next 60 days, I want to help you get to the ultimate level, become an ultimate brand partner with this company. The most successful people do it this way. I want you to make a list of 20 people, your most positive, motivated people who have influence in your community, your friends when they make a post that have 20,000 people who love it and have admiration for them. And I want us to figure out, are we going to do a Zoom? Are we going to do a 3-way call? Do we need to have coffee? What is the best way to meet that person in their point of comfortability, not yours?
How many events over the next 10 days would you have them do?
Oh my gosh, all of them. That we got 7 to 10 days.
No. Yeah, but I mean, I copied you back in the day. You said build a list, your most positive, motivated, trustworthy friends, people that you know, and then we're going to schedule 2 events for you, and we're going to funnel those people to those events.
Yep.
And out of those, we're going to get 4. We're going to at least get 4. We might get 8. We might get 20. But we're at least going to get 4. And that I watched you do and then teach your team to do and teach their team to do. And I watched something special come out of the ground from nothing, from a person. And I watched you leave your business and be able to today have the freedom that you've got. It's just, Todd, it just excites me to hear about this again.
Well, Brent, it gives me chill bumps because over the years I have seen how much things have changed, but I've also seen how things haven't changed at all. So, like in today's world, I see all these quote so-called social media gurus teaching people how to make the prettiest TikTok video on day one, but they never make any money. Every single time I interview a person that's made real money in the industry, they made a contact list. You nailed it. We didn't coordinate this, Kristal. You and I weren't the same company. We were doing 2 different companies, but I used to say the exact same thing. People that are positive, credible, people of influence. Let's go meet them at their time, at their place. Let's Zoom to them if we can't reach them. Let's meet them in a coffee shop. Let's get them in a living room. And which stay with us, Kristal. But that leads me into Duke. Duke, just so you know, when I got to this company, after a 12-year stint in another company, I looked around at everything going on and I said, there's one person in this company that really knows how to build a business. And his name is Duke Tubtim. And Chris Doyle and Ken Bailey and I flew out to a couple of your events in California. You were doing weekly meetings. All of your people had these nice cars parked in front of the hotel. Y'all were doing 2-on-1s. You were doing coffee shops. Then you blow it up into a big event. We all came to Los Angeles. You got 800 people in a room. Everybody's in suit and ties. Duke, you've now been reaping the rewards of that the last 4 or 5 years. When that was going on, you were saying you had just gotten married. You had no kids. I remember sitting on a cruise with you and your wife, and y'all were talking about your first baby. Y'all, the family has started, and because you went and paid the price, you've lived a life of luxury. So, Duke, I've got we've never worked together, but I think you're as good of a builder as I've ever seen in network marketing. Will you please tell us a couple of things? Number one, you didn't go the route Brent, Kristal, and I went, and that is go get in your career, get in debt, have kids, and then figure it out. You figured it out while you were in college before it all got started. So I want to know that mindset. And then I want to know how you did it. How have you built $1 million residual income?
Hey, well, first off, thanks for having me on, and it's an honor to be here. And I know we are like on the other side of the US, but I'll tell you, there's absolute admiration for this organization and the leadership. And I in the trainings I do, I talk about you all as well. It's just, I know there's a bit of a distance, so, and a time gap, you know, because it's definitely pretty early for us out here. But as I said, the admiration is definitely mutual. And in regards to, so to answer the question real quick, I actually got involved in this industry. I first was exposed to it at 16 years old. And reason being, I didn't come from a well-to-do family. In short, money was always tight in the family. My mother was the only one supporting us. She had a nursing job. My father was an engineer until he had a pretty severe stroke. I was in the 6th grade. So my parents were just juggling the bills as if 2 parents were working, but it was really just my mom just pulling in the money. And so I was exposed to this industry at 16. I lasted 2 to 3 days. So it was a really short journey. I was ironically in this very similar industry to many of you. I was providing utilities, long distance service. And so in my mind, I was not coachable. I was not listening to my mentors. And I thought, well, who would want a discount in this, you know, in long distance? So I went to a swap meet. I had to work up the nerve to talk to a customer. So I went in the cold market right away. Again, these were all just red flags, but I just thought that my mentors couldn't relate to me because of my age. Again, it was just my ego just talking. I spoke to the first, it took me like 2 hours to talk to the first customer. That person didn't just say no, that person said, hell no. Like, and that's, I'm not even kidding. That literally happened. That person, without knowing, I quit right after that person's statement. I was floored. And then you fast forward a year later, and now I'm a senior in high school. And what made me get back into this industry? I wasn't looking to get back into this industry, really. I was looking for a job. My parents just dropped the bomb on me saying, you know, we can't afford to send you to the college that you want to go to. And I didn't want to go to an expensive college. It's just the money ran out. And way back in the day, some of you may wonder, how old am I today? I'm 41. So back in the day, it was really a priority for the parents. Today, student loans are so normal. But back then, it was really the priority of the parents to send their kids through college. So they dropped the bomb on me. I started looking for work. Bad luck really ended up being good luck. Just for whatever reason, no one was hiring. So I got desperate, came back into this line of work. And I thought to myself, you know what, if I learn the skills, it could help me. I was still career minded. I was still job minded. And then I thought to myself, you know what, in the job world, being a strong communicator, I think is an edge, right? Being more assertive was an edge. So I thought I could learn these skills here. And I'll tell you, my income started to grow. One thing I realized is as my skills grew, there was definitely a bump in income. Well, one day, I wasn't making a lot of money. And I gave my mentors not the best attitude. And I said, this thing doesn't work. And they said, no. They said, Duke, you got it wrong. This thing works. You don't work. And I was like, well, you know, it was strong. And I'm so happy that they were strong. They said, Duke, you don't act good. You don't look good. You don't dress good. You don't smell good. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, now some of you play video games, some of you don't, but Mortal Kombat, I was like, dude, I was hit with a 4-hit combo right there, you know, like, and that, again, all real stuff that happened. And my ego was still like not giving up. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm going to just do the training, or I'm going to follow the training to the T and just show them that it doesn't work for my friends in my age, you know? So I literally followed the basics to the T. I brought my buddy, his name is Frank. And when the presentation was done, I said, so do you see a way for make some extra income here? And he was like, yeah. He goes, what do I do? He goes, do I pay you? I was not used to that. I was used to at least 20 minutes of questions and then them having to think about it. And so I was embracing that. And we said, how do I get through it? Do I pay you? My application was stuck in my pad. Now, I don't know if y'all, so here's a Padfolio, right? There's apps in here. They have not been used in so long, they stuck to the vinyl inside. So here I am talking to him, and I'm trying to pull out the app, and it's here. You can hear this ripping noise. And I was like, I had to do it quick because it had to look kind of cool, right? So I had to, and I pulled it out. And a part of me inside said, you know what? I got to ask him this question. Like it may cost me this teammate, but I just got to know. So I'm at the part now where it is, you're asking for a form of payment. So it's the worst time to ask a question like this. And I said, so what made you decide to want to do this? Now, keep in mind, when you're getting someone on board, you should be showing confidence. Let's go. We got this. This is exciting. I had to know. And he said, Duke, he said, you don't see it? He goes, you look so serious and you look like you're going somewhere with this. Now, the reason why I say this, and I say this to the people that, again, people in the team I work with, I say this regularly. I said, I've listened to Jim Rohn, phenomenal as a foundation, phenomenal. To this day, to me, I believe timeless principles through Jim Rohn. Obviously, Tony Robbins, and so there's so many great personal development. And I would say at the very core of the income I made in this industry, the strongest advice I got was ironically from my friend Frank. And he said those two things. And this is why, because I've noticed when it comes to building a team, building an organization, building a business, I think about Elon, right? Convincing people as a civilian, we're going to build rockets. I mean, could you imagine that? Like when you first got in the game and that, or convincing people we're going to do electric cars, even though, Ford and GM and all of them haven't done it yet, but we're going to do it, right? Again, it goes back to what my buddy said. You got to look serious and you got to look like you're going somewhere with it. I could talk about Steve Jobs, right? Zuckerberg, just to name, like they all give stories on how they had to convince a group of people on a vision. And it rooted to those two things. So the reason why I bring this up is everything that I learn or exercise, it goes back to that. It's this constant development of, do I look more serious? Do I look like I'm going somewhere with this? And you know what I hope for? That transfers to the team. Because I notice if that happens, right, like attracts like energy, then they're going to get people like-minded and that's going to grow. And so I've been very fortunate in this industry. This is not to brag or boast whatsoever. I had only, actually, I'll say this real quick. I might as well share this with you because I'm super excited over this because I've been looking for this picture for 15 plus years. I thought it was gone. I really thought it was gone. I had only one job, and this is when you find the value of $1. And I thought, it was at my parents' house. I thought my family threw it out because when I moved out, the picture was in my bedroom. And then one day it was completely cleared. And I was like tripping, like, oh my gosh, like it's not a selfie. It's just me at my pizza job. Why would they want to keep it? And literally this past week, I went, my wife wanted to go through an old photo album of mine and my father kept it. And, it makes me a little emotional because he's not around today. And here, I'll show you the picture real quick, but this is the only picture. This was me delivering pizza. So yeah, I didn't graduate college. Okay. But that's me. All right. I believe I was around 19 years old, but here's the crazy part. By the time I was 20 years old, I was very fortunate to break a 7-figure income. So literally here I am, like broke out of my mind. I don't know how I survived every month. I found many ways to cook ramen. Let's put it that way. Free pizza always helped. But at 2021, it was a complete life change. And what was it? It's really doing the best you can to set the example and set the pace. So I don't know if that fully answers the question, but that's kind of my background. I could talk about how I led to RX is in a nutshell, as I followed the leadership.
Dude, let's talk, because y'all both hit on a couple of things. One, I always believe you got to make a commitment, and y'all made a commitment at some point along your journey. And then you reference everybody from Elon Musk to Steve Jobs. What they then do is they build their belief level so high that people start believing in them. They may not believe in an electric car or a spaceship, but I believe in Elon Musk's vision. And that's really the trait that a Brent Palmer, a Dr. Kristal, or that you have that I've noticed through the years is that people that become super successful, they just develop an aura about them. They don't walk around all the time feeling defeated. But here's where I want to go with both of you. I want both of your takes. The number one thing that stops most people, and I think it's why so many people spend all of their time on social media without success, is the fear of rejection. And Duke, you said it was because you were 16, but I will tell you, people use their town. Everybody's different in my town. People use old age. People use, I don't do things like this. People use, I can't sell. It all goes down to the inability to face rejection in the face and go help some people change their lives. So Duke, we'll start with you and then go back to Kristal. I want to know, like, how did you make a list of people, call them, set the appointment, show the business, and create the infrastructure of success? I want to know exactly how you did it.
Well, for me, when I started really building, my friends knew I did this type of work. So when I was 19 years old, I started to get out of pizza delivery, and my friends were just, they knew network marketing. And so I knew I couldn't even go to them. And so I was willing to expand my market. But it first starts off with a commitment. Am I going to break through or not? And I think that's what's really important, because when you make that commitment, then all of a sudden, all the ideas and all the the creativity kicks in, right? And this is what we hear this even with Jim Rohn, it's a numbers game. And for it being a numbers game, and then Tim Sales he even brought this up in convention, that based on his statistics, roughly 1 out of 40 people that come on board as a rep or a brand partner tends to break a 6-figure income. And so if you have, right, that 1 out of 40 on one line, so, and then you got, so basically, and again, this was all in at convention. So based on his statistics, if you have 120 brand partners on 3 different lines, he's estimating that individual could make around $250,000 a year. And I literally looked at that slide. I literally looked at it again yesterday. And my point is that when you make that commitment of what you're building, okay, like if you notice there's Lego sets here, when you make that commitment that I'm building this, like, and again, I'm sure a lot of us here can relate to this because we maybe do it in network marketing or something that we've done in our life. All the ideas and the actions just flow to you. And so I did a combination of everything. Okay, I did a combination of everything. When I built my fortune, I'm very much like Todd, where there was no social media back then. So it was just, just grit, straight grit, whether it's you're eating lunch or dinner and you're striking conversation, you're buying clothes or you're at the cashier, like just always generating market. But again, what's really cool is when you can visualize an end goal. I think where it gets really scary is when people don't know what the end is. Like, what is that, right? So imagine that and go, if I can have 40 brand partners on one line, and the great thing is you don't have to bring them all in, right? So it's like, man, it doesn't matter if it's me, I'll bring in maybe 5. And then what if I can get a team to help pull in the rest, right? Divide and conquer. So then the thought would be like, how can I be more impactful as a teammate? How can I be more impactful as a leader? All of that starts to flow to you. So anyways, that's how I eliminate my fears, especially when it comes to building.
Kristal?
Wow. Like I might even have had a light bulb moment during that. Thanks, Duke. So I just had the realization that my entire life, one part of my personality is, and this was taught to me from my parents, I take my fears and use them as a motivator. So like my biggest fear was, right, I told you, I was hiding around the corner going, my friends are going to kill me. And I was like, but they won't if they make money. So that system I just taught you, I drilled that system because it was, for me, my biggest fear was they would be mad at me that I got them involved. And so I was like, well, then how can I make them not, right? I was like, I'm going to find a way to make my fear fire me to have success. And so that's why I drilled that system, was because if I got that money back in their pocket, they couldn't be mad at me. And I was overcoming my greatest fear. And so, inside of my chiropractic, when 20 years ago, like not everybody went to chiropractic school, right? They're like, why don't you just go to MD school? And I'm like, because I don't like drugs. I don't want to give people drugs. So I became a chiropractor. But do you think I had people that were judging it? And it was like my biggest fear to build my business. I'm going to find the people and I'm going to show them how it can help them. And that's how I built my chiropractic. Let me show them that science is actually inside of this. So take your biggest fear and figure out how you can make overcoming it make you successful. And like, that's a light bulb moment for me. I'm like, all right, what is my new fear? What is under the surface right now that I'm actually fearful, and it will take me to the next level if I find a way to overcome it?
You know, Brent, I want to, we got about 10 minutes left, but you and I were talking earlier in the week, and we were both saying in 20 years, we've never really seen anybody's business in momentum that aren't either doing living room meetings consistently and or some type of weekly meeting consistently. So Duke, when I saw your business in like crazy momentum, like you have a tremendous residual income now, but when I saw it in momentum, I was watching your social media post and y'all had weekly meetings going with 100+ people, exotic cars all posted out front. And Kristal, I wasn't there in your true momentum phase, but Brent was telling me that you were in a living room meeting 6 nights a week. Like you were always in somebody's living room. So Kristal, can you talk about living room, and Duke, you talk about meeting, but go ahead, Brent.
Yeah. And I just want to say this before they talk about this, Todd, because I've watched from afar, just being inside of this company for the last 2 years. And I watched Duke's leadership style. I watch, he doesn't go, well, Kristal doesn't show up with her group at the event like this. When his team walks into that event, and it's not an ego thing. It's, we're going to dress for success because that's what they've set into motion. And I know from afar looking at that going, he does that by creating phenomenal relationships. And then the connection of events to set that culture in motion is, to me, I look back and go, that's why he's made millions of dollars. He knows how to get the new person started, but then he knows how to keep the people engaged and moving towards a culture. And Kristal did the same thing, Coach. Like when I watched her as she built this, it was like she got them in. She taught them something simple to get their money back, to start moving. She got them in, she got them paid, but then she started moving them along by connection. Now, the connection might have been different. They might not have been in a suit. They might have been in this, but it was all the same philosophy. And when I look at these two leaders here this morning, I go, guys, that's it. So many times we're wanting to say, go sick them. And we can't create duplication. But when we say, let's go do it together and let's build something special together, special things happen. So I'll turn it back to them, but this is amazing. Gold nuggets this morning.
Yeah, well, I guess to start, how do I say this? I think about those times, when we're just cranking out meetings, and it was just, how do I say this? Once the business is built, it just, I guess you call that momentum. It just carries itself. But I would say the part where I would say let's say, for example, the younger me would want to know is, how do you get that started, right? How do you get that going? And understanding the fear. The fear is there. The fear is real, and fear could be anything, right? Fear could be absolutely anything. It could be like lack of market, or, oh, my market knows the whole thing, or, well, I'll tell you, this is my personal belief, okay? And it's just it literally is my belief. And I love how Jim Rohn says, like, I'm an amateur on the Bible. I just believe that I believe many parts within the Bible, but these two really stick out to me. Is we were designed to create, and if it's our desire, why would the man upstairs set us up to lose? Like, that's just my personal belief. And there's so many stories. And the crazy thing too, with the story of the prodigal son, and I give that as a wild take on it, because in that story, people are familiar with that story, that the son just wanted to go off the deep end. And basically the creator is so loving, he allowed, because it was that person's desire to go that path, obviously learn the hard way, came back, and then there was a celebration, right? That he came back on the path. But my point is, if let's say the universe or God, the creator, right, is so willing in that story to allow the prodigal son to go off the deep end, imagine someone that wants to be on the path. Imagine someone that really wants to charge the mountain and do amazing good out there. And then again, it's my spiritual side. Well, because if there is a God, then there's a devil. How's that going to come easy? Because the devil don't want that happening. Right. And so in my mind, I think to myself, were we designed to fail? And if the answer is no, especially because it's just my belief in the word, it has to be decoded. It's a puzzle. And so the puzzle becomes a game. And that's just my mentality. There's a way. There is a way to win, because we are granted our deepest desires because we were designed to create. It's not going to come easy. And I would express that today the game's completely changed, right? Is there insecurity and fears? I'll explain some just so people can hear it. Couple things. First off, in California, now my team, or the group that I worked with prior to this pandemic, I want to say 60 to 70% of them were in the ages of 18 to 25. And then right when the pandemic hit and the stimulus checks came out, unemployment came out, this is what the saying is, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. All of a sudden you get a rep that's like 19 years old saying, oh my gosh, I applied for unemployment and I got $6,000. And here's the crazy thing, guy never had a job, and it's like basically free money. And then I was like, what in the world? And I'll tell you, in less than a month, the bulk of our team just went flat. Because I say this, it's jokingly but kind of true. It's they were able to buy a PlayStation 5 off of stimulus checks, and through it all, they got to play video games at home, and they got paid for that. Now, obviously, all that money is drying up, and we're seeing a shift. On top of that, California was ridiculously strict. I would say they were trying to set the bar on how strict things could get in the United States. And so we couldn't even do presentations. Literally, our bread and butter when it came to whether it be demographic or how we built being in-house, being in hotels, was completely wiped out. Now, would the fear start to sink in? What you've known to do for 10, 15 years, and this is what I believe. Well, again, God will grant the desires of your heart. It requires work. It's going to require engineering. And there's a way to win. So we looked at it and go, does this business, right, can it provide to a market where it will generate lifestyle? And the answer is yes. So we had to literally adapt and say, okay, so who needs money right now? People in their 30s, 40s, people, young families, they could be furloughed, they could be out of a job. But also, again, we literally made a list. What do people need right now? Well, we noticed moms are being driven crazy by their kids at home, bouncing off the walls, right? Because there's distance learning. You got like one computer and 4 kids, and they all gotta like do their homework. They need a place to unwind. They need a place to congregate, right? And so we made a list. People are gaining weight because they're learning how to bake bread on YouTube because they're stuck at home. All of that. So, anyways, we said, what can we create of value, and let's go for it. And then we built, right? And I'll tell you, the past 2 years, ironically, in the year 2020, our income jumped higher. And yet we completely lost our main market and our build style. And so then you fast forward now. And fast forwarding now, right? 41 years old, I live in Nevada. The bulk of our group is in California. I know everyone's looking for opportunity now. I mean, the economy's going crazy. The stock market's going crazy, inflation's going crazy. Like, you could totally see where the needle is going. But the notion now is, how do we re-engage? And I'll just add one more thing, because my feeling is most people, they let the fear paralyze them, versus for me, there's this feeling of excitement. And the reason why is because I don't think we're designed to fail. And it's just an internal belief right out the gate. I don't believe we're designed to fail. I remember Kobe Bryant, he says this many times on interview, that he went to a basketball camp as a young Kobe Bryant, did not score one single point. You would think it's not that he just became an NBA basketball player. He's perhaps one of the top 5 greatest to ever play the sport. And it's hard to fathom that at a younger age, he scored 0 points in a basketball camp. And somehow, how is that? As I said, how can we not break through? The fear in him should have been unreal, like to just not quit. And so anyways, this is my mentality. It's like, we are now stepping back into, I'm going to use this analogy of a car that we haven't driven in 2 to 3 years, right? And we're jumping inside it. And now given, okay, it'd be great for the car to run perfectly. But the thing about business, there's always something. The question is, what is it now? So you're already embracing it. Okay, so a lot of people have been talking about like corporate, and let's say whether it be the computer systems and whatnot. So this is how I look at it. Okay, so I jump in the car. It's been years. It's literally dusty. Imagine it dusty, and we're in a garage that, again, it's been stored there. Turn it on. Oh, there's no electricity. Swap out the battery. Right. Again, most people will be like, oh man, I don't know, it's the right time because the car won't start. It's like, dude, it's just a battery. Let's put it in. Let's get it going. Car starts up. Gauges don't work. So when I think about, let's say, back office and inputting volume and things like that, and let's say it's a little buggy, it's like, okay, gauges are not work. So this is how I look at it. And I'm like, are there wheels still on it? Does the car roll? Okay, let's go. Let's go. And I'll say this, why does it pull me so much? Because I will be honest, okay, and I will be transparent, like probably in the last 6 months, you do kind of wonder, where's everything going? Where is everything going? I mean, it'd be a lie not to say that, right? But then in the past 2 to 3 weeks, we hear from Fred, we hear from Mark, we hear from Deanna, and it's like, oh man, I see where this is going, and there's this strong feeling of excitement. I see where this is going and it feels good. Again, there was a little bit of uncertainty a couple months ago, and I won't deny that, but this is what I believe, right? There's a saying, fortune favors the brave. Will everything be worked out? Imagine your goal is, now again, what are you creating? You are creating your desire. I was taught success is achieving what you want, right? But if you don't know what you want, then that's like driving with no navigation. And so I'll tell you, if you know exactly what you want, this is what gets me excited. I just have faith because I've worked with Mark and Fred for well over 15 years. I've seen them in all types of scenarios. And one thing I'll tell you about them, they're very consistent with what it is they're focused on. And so some people go like, Duke, how come you're not scared? Because this is how I feel. I have not seen them lose. Now, given I know so many of us here are playing sports, maybe the first 2 quarters may not go the way you want it, but the question is, do they land on their feet at the end? And they have an extreme track record of doing that. So in my mind, it's like, knowing them for so many years, I've seen them in all types of scenarios, things are going to get worked out. Will we get our business worked out by then? As I said, it's one thing dealing with 18 to 25-year-olds and like you haven't engaged with them. Dude, I mean, in the past 2 to 3 years, like I know this sounds weird, but we say this in the group, like they turned alien. They're just so different now. They are completely different. Back then we had to convince them on why a business over a job. Today they're like, oh yeah, we know. It's because they were stuck at home watching YouTube and everyone's saying like, don't have a job. Like they're just so different today. And so my point is, can you engineer something in time and focus on the payoff? This is what I believe. That new age will break through. New age will hit the goals that were set initially. They wanted to be a breakthrough company. They not just in product, not just in health, but as a network marketing company. They wanted to be the breakthrough. When I say new age, basically RX, right? And the bones and the foundation of RX. We see that happening now. And my mind is, all right, It's going to be built no matter what. Are we going to have our part built with it? Right? These are the challenges right now. I wanted to express challenges because the same, let's say if there's little bugs that we deal with it too. But also I deal with a market that, as I said, we have to like relearn that market. We're doing our first hotel meeting in 2 weeks. We haven't done a hotel meeting. We haven't done a meeting in California in over 2 years. Is there the feeling of a lot of fear? Is there potential for a lot of fear? Of course. But I'm just excited because I know this company is going to win. That's just this feeling. The question is, what do we need to engineer in time? So anyways, I apologize if I rambled on with that. I've just noticed success has always been an attitude and a mentality. And so I wanted to express that. I noticed when anybody in network marketing or anybody, when they achieve that certain attitude, it's like success is inevitable. So my goal is to stay at that point. It's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. If you don't work the muscle, it can get out of shape. And so just to stay on that, and you know what's great about this business? You attract people that want the same thing. And when that happens, things explode. So anyways, sorry, like.
Duke, you're amazing. I tell you, we're designed to succeed. And kind of the flip side of that is we're designed not to fail. Just find the process is my takeaway from you today. And it is the most powerful thing that a person can ever plant inside their body if they really grasp the meaning of that. Brent, I've got to turn my camera off. I'm going to turn it to you and Kristal. Y'all close this out. And Kristal and Duke, thank y'all so much for being here.
Duke, amazing. And these were gold nuggets. I know we're out of time. Kristal, just as we end, one of the things that I really, I believe God's got his hand on this morning, because I got a message last night from Tammy Moppy. And I challenge everybody just today, go look her up on Facebook and go look at her news feed. And just bear with me as we end. But Kristal, I know you and Duke both have you've made a career in this profession out of sharing your story. There's a saying that says facts tell and stories sell. Stories are what people can relate to. It's where they find inspiration. And Tammy Montby messaged me last night, and she made a post sharing her story. And people started reaching out. Because sometimes it's like we could talk about the peel form of Vanali and the facts of it and why it's so powerful. But you know what? When you get out there and you really open your heart and you open yourself and you share you, like you and Duke did this morning, like that's where the connection happens. That's where it connects. And I would ask all of you, Kristal, as we end today, any further comments, but go look at Tammy's post and ask yourself this question, because I'm a coach at heart. And I believe sometimes you get away from the blocking and the tackling, the free throws and the layups, the basics, right? I've done it many a times. And you got to go back and go, oh my, yeah, I remember. Are you sharing your story? Are you opening your heart? Are you leading with love? Because if you are, you have the multi-million-dollar business inside of you. Like you've got it there, just waiting to erupt. Kristal, any final comments? Duke, again, thank you and Kristal both. But as we end, any last words, Kristal?
Yeah, when you guys go out there, it took me a long time to get my story right. Thankfully, I had a mentor who, I teamed up with someone to help me get my story. I didn't go like what Tammy did. She spent a lot of time to figure out how to express that like she did. And it was an amazing post. So it's where you were before you found it, where you are right now, and what you're excited about. If you'll use that as your format for creating that and sharing your story, and then send it to one of your other friends here and let them say, hey, but what about this part? Because we create these relationships and we learn things about each other that are important that maybe we don't think. You're like, oh, that's my story, but I don't know that I should share that. So definitely share it with your teammates and have people critique it back and forth. But I just want to say the last thing I would say is, you said, what did it look like? Was it in the living room? Was it through a Zoom? Was it on the phone? Man, it's whatever it takes right now. Do I really want to get in my car and go put 80,000 miles back on my BMW in 1 year? If I have to. Do I really want to go on a plane and fly to Wyoming in the middle of the friggin' winter when I moved to Florida to stay warm? If I have to. Do I really want to do another Zoom on Monday night when I've worked all day and if I have to? And so right now, all I got to say is you do whatever it takes. And if you fall down, expect to bleed. It'll heal, rub some dirt on it, and let's go. Do whatever it takes to win.
Mic drop.
I'm going to add something because I've got a little bit of a cough, so I've asked the coaches to not say anything. But I got 2 text messages this week, one from Dr. Kristal and one from Duke, asking what did I want to talk about. I think both of them would verify. I just wanted them to talk from their hearts and tell me what, I didn't ask for a topic. I knew what they were going to say, because you don't make the money in this industry that they have made. I've watched it too long, and they've just given you the blueprint. What you heard from Duke was so important, is that he failed and failed and failed, and then he just decided he wasn't going to fail. And I know that that's the story, that if you really get down to all the leaders, nobody wants to hear, Ken Bailey always says that, nobody wants to hear the problem. They always want to hear the end result. And I'm so thankful for Duke opening up his, hey, it didn't work out so good to begin with. And I was going to ask you, so what do you drive to work every day, Duke? If you go to work, what do you do? What's in the garage? I want to hear the garage, because see, I'm a car guy. What's in the garage?
So right now again, because of the pandemic, I just went into a lot of project cars. So Toyota Supra, RX-7, these are like literally all of my dream cars, growing up, is what I'm literally collecting right now. And let me explain why, because when the way I am is if I'm not being able to do meetings and things like that, then okay, I'm going to collect on all this. So I'm like, I don't want to boast, but it's just, I have a handful of cars. But what I will say is, now that things are starting to go back to normal, my boy keeps staring at Lamborghinis and stuff, and I'm just gonna say, in the future, like there are goals that we have that we're gonna.
You've already had those, so it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's a choice, I would say. It truly is. And when people realize that, I think people will so realize what type the power that they have. When it's definitely a choice to have these things.
Well, I'm going to close this out with something I don't think that even Coach Potter knows, or Kristal or Duke knows. Obviously, our new board member is Judy Hammerschmidt. She happens to be a friend of mine, a very close friend that was with me for years. So I've known her. And I asked her, I said, why did you decide to become a member and a board member of New Age? This lady, if you looked at her, I think, Duke, as you heard her resume, were you quite impressed with her resume? When we were taught her resume is pretty impressive, right?
Oh, extremely. I mean, she lives up to her nickname, right? What I got her nickname was, she's just a female Fred, Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you her words from me. Because I said, Judy, I was stunned, because I had actually called her. For those that don't know, I called her before I joined Fred and Mark and asked her what she could tell me about them. And she checked them out and said, I can't find any dirt. They're probably pretty good guys. She's joined our company right now on the board. These were her words, and I'm not going to get an exact quote. I need to get her on here one day. She said, this is going to become the largest company in this industry's history, or I wouldn't have been on this board. And I know Brent has not heard me say that. Kristal, you haven't heard me say that. Those words came from Judy Hammersmith, the former CEO of Herbalife, as interim. They left that out of her resume. There's all kinds of things that she's done. in this industry, and I'm talking about with billion-dollar companies. And she said, I believe this company and the way what their goals and vision is, and I think they have the plan to do it, to become the largest company in the industry's history. And she said, I don't mean by little, I think they'll blow it completely up. I'm finishing with that. Guys, thank you for being on. We ran way over today, but I don't think there's a sync. We had very few people leave, and I know there was things to do. There's another Zoom. I know that I think Betsy Waters, it may be one, I don't know who's hosting that. There's a Zoom about the Noni product. Highly recommend you to look it up. I'm drinking Noni like crazy. That's why I'm coughing. I'm trying to get rid of this cough I've got. Guys, thank you so much. This is the first time we've shared a Zoom. We've known each other now almost 9 years. And but this is the first Zoom. Dr. Kristal, we have done Zooms before. I know you've done one with my daughter as well. We love working with you. What a great Zoom. Coach Rowland is already, I may have already signed off, but guys, great day. Coach Palmer is always with you. Always fun to have you on. So guys, have a good day. Next Saturday, remember, Coach Rowland will be back, and it's going to be Ladies' Day. So have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.